This is Riven Redemption, a series where we take another look at so-called weaker or lesser used weapons in Warframe and see if, with the help of a good Riven mod, these weapons can be brought into line with some of our better weapons. It's a lot to ask for some weapons in Warframe, and you need to have, of course, luck with your Riven roll as well to see what stats you get on there. Even with a great Riven mod, you shouldn't expect a terrible weapon to suddenly become as good as, say, the Tonkor or the Soma Prime and so on. It's probably just not going to happen, but it could bring them up into, I guess, sorty viable weapons. Now, in this episode, we're taking a look at a rifle that's a bit of a cult favourite in Warframe and has been for a while, the Grinlok, a Grineer lever action rifle with a decent crit chance and a high status chance, but it only has 6 rounds in its magazine, a slow fire rate, and it has a slow 2.1 second reload as well, so the Grinlok definitely has its downsides. And with that slow reload speed and that small magazine size, it will mean that missed shots will cost you big time. You will need to make every shot count. Of course, you could mod to counter those downsides to make a faster reload or have more ammo in your magazine, but your damage output is going to suffer. It's still a bit crazy that the Grinlok is weaker than its pistol variant, the Murloc, a secondary that outperforms its primary counterpart. Strange. Now, with the Grinlok, there are so many good stats that you're going to need to roll on a Riven mod for it to be seen as a good weapon, or I guess to improve it. There's crit chance, status chance, flat damage, reload speed, punch through, magazine size, even slash or elemental damage. And because of this, it was a really hard choice when rolling my Riven mods to try and figure out which of the stats I should actually settle for. Now, I went ahead and I traded for my Grinlok mod on the trade chat because the one I had originally for my Grinlok had absolutely terrible stats on it. It had zoom and negative magazine size, and after rolling it, I think it was maybe 6 or 7 times, I decided, feck it, I'm just going to try trade chat for one that would make the Grinlok sortie viable, or as close to sortie viable as possible. And I honestly didn't expect the Grinlok to change by much at all, regardless of what kind of Riven mod I had on it. However, this set of stats has actually made the Grinlok more powerful than I could ever have thought or imagined. With this Riven mod, my current Grinlok build looks like this. Now, ignore the amount of forma on my Grinlok right now because I had a second Riven mod which I had originally formed for, but I ended up having to change that polarity, so of course the amount of forma on it isn't going to match this build. Now, with this Riven mod that I have right now, my Grinlok has a 100% status chance and a 90% crit chance. And when you combine this build with, say, 4 corrosive projections or with an Ardarza Kavat, my Grinlok can deal some really nice damage, and its bleed effects are great as well. It definitely improves my Grinlok by effect ton, yes, that's how good it is. And to show you guys how well this Grinlok setup works against higher level enemies, I jumped into the simulacrum and tried it against level 140 corrupted heavy gunners with armor and without. Now, I've showed it with armor for you unsociable feckers out there that like to run solo missions most of the time, and then I let my Kavat strip the armor from a heavy gunner to simulate having, I guess, a squad running corrosive projections to see how well the Grinlok would perform then. Let me know what you guys think. Has the Grinlok been redeemed or not? Is this kind of setup on the Grinlok actually worthwhile, having that 100% status chance and a high crit chance as well, or would you maybe prefer to have that 100% status chance and have some punch through in there as well for dealing with larger crowds of enemies? Now, I would definitely recommend running a Criticat or a Ardarza Kavat with this weapon if you can get this kind of setup. That 100% status chance is really nice, or if you can get a high enough crit chance with this, then definitely go for that because of that Syndicate mod as well. Like I said earlier, let me know what you guys think, if the Grinlok has been redeemed or not, if you would love to have a mod like this in your arsenal. I've left a question pinned to the top of my comment section for this video as well. It's for a future video, so if you guys could answer that, that would be awesome. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more Warframe, and as always,
1 potato, 2 potatoes, 3 potatoes, 4, 5 potatoes, 6 potatoes, 7 potatoes more.